As the year winds to a close, now is the perfect time to simplify and to declutter your home. So today I want to share with you 25 things that you can get rid of before 2025. By paring down your personal belongings now, before the holidays hit, before the influx of things, and even just the general busyness that comes with this season, you can create a very relaxing and inviting environment in which to enjoy this special time of year. So let's get into these ideas of some things that you can declutter that I promise you won't miss. And the first area that I'd suggest tackling is your pantry. Go through your pantry and remove anything that's expired, that's stale. Maybe there's something that you bought to try out but just weren't a fan of, haven't finished up. I feel like around the holidays especially, our pantries tend to push the upper limits of their capacity, and so it's a great idea before that hits to go through to remove anything that you don't need. And while you're doing that too, why not make a list of anything that you might be running low on? Maybe you need more sugar, flour, different bits in order to engage in some festive baking. That way, as you get into it, you'll be well stocked on everything and not have to make any last minute trips to the store. I really think that the pantry is one of the more impactful spaces in the home that we can declutter, because when you have a just simplified, organized pantry, it really does make just cooking and baking so much more fun, user-friendly, and enjoyable. Then another category that I'd recommend tackling as the weather gets colder is to go through your throw pillows and blankets. I love a cozy blanket or throw pillow just as much as the next person, but it is possible to have too many. You can only use so many blankets at once, and too many throw pillows on a bed or a sofa can actually make it less comfortable to sit on rather than more comfortable. So go through your textiles and remove any that you don't use. Maybe you have a throw pillow that's an awkward size. Maybe you just need to pare down a bit. Maybe you have a scratchy blanket. Obviously keep any that get regular use that you love and really add to that cozy factor in your home, but consider passing on the rest. Then another category that's especially relevant for this time of year is board games and puzzles. During the summer months, most of us spend a lot of time engaging in outdoor activities, but as the weather cools off, we tend to move indoors. And so I really find that the fall and winter months are when we tend to play a lot of our board games and to build all our puzzles. There's something so cozy and hygge about that. So as we enter the time of year for the puzzles, for the board games, now's a great time to really go through those. Try to think through, when was the last time you played each game you have in your collection, or when was the last time that you built each puzzle? If you don't remember when that was, it might be time to move on from those items, or at the very least commit to, in the next month or so, building that puzzle, playing that game, and from there deciding, is this something that I'm going to want to play again, to build again, or is it time to move on? I will say, with puzzles especially, I get that it can get a little bit old to rebuild the same puzzle every single season. So I do have a handful, and I'd say every couple of years I try to build them, but I do definitely get a sense once I've built a puzzle once for if I like it and if I'm going to build it again, or if it was maybe a good experience for a one-time build and it's time to pass it on after that. So I just want to give a bit of perspective with that. Not every single puzzle I have I build every year, but I will say that I do build them all every, I'd say 2 years, maybe 3 years, but really in that 2 to 3 year range. Anything that I go longer than that without building, I'll usually pass on, because it means that I'm opting for rebuilding others instead of that, which means that that puzzle isn't a favorite. And you know me, if I'm going to keep something, I want it to be something I love. So that's my approach for puzzles. With games, I'd say it's fairly similar, although I do try to make sure that I'm playing games a bit more regularly than that, because each time you play a game, it's a bit different. With puzzles, it's kind of the same thing each time. Okay, then let's talk hosting supplies. Over the next few months, many of us are going to be doing a lot more hosting and entertaining than normal, which is so much fun, but I think it's also helpful to be prepared for it by preemptively going through your hosting supplies, making sure that what you have are all things that you love and are actually going to use. And just like we were talking about with games and puzzles, if there are serving dishes or platters or maybe different spoons, cups, whatever it is. If there are hosting supplies that you have that you can't remember the last time that you used them, consider moving on from those pieces. Focus on keeping those really versatile pieces that can work for many different occasions and that you can use again and again. And something that's a bit less tangible, but I think that we can all really stand to benefit from going through, is our photos. I'd hazard a guess that most of us can relate to having so many photos on our phone that it can be sometimes hard to find which are the ones we actually care about and cherish. They just got lost in the shuffle of pictures of sunsets, your coffee, screenshots, and whatever else. So over the holidays, I think it can be a great idea to schedule a night just to go through your photos. I think it can be especially fun too if you do this as a family. But just schedule an evening where you can go through your photos, maybe reminisce about different memories, but at the same time decide what you can delete from your photos, and also what are those pictures that you really want to save. Maybe you want to get them printed or just kind of stored in some special fashion. I think the beautiful thing about having really incredible cameras on our phone these days is we can capture any memory so easily, but I feel like we don't preserve them in the same way that past generations did, and there's something I really feel like we're missing out on by not having a way that we can really look back at some of those pictures. So yeah, schedule a night where you can go through them and maybe pick some that you can preserve and cherish for years to come. Oh, and another benefit of going through your photos, whether it's on your phone, a hard drive, your computer, wherever you have them stored, is you'll free up a lot of space in the process as well, which is always a win. Well, let's talk gift wrapping supplies. Whether it's gift bags, boxes, even tissue, I love trying to reuse those things from year to year. It's a lot more sustainable and also far more cost effective. But that said, these things don't last forever. You can really only reuse them so many times. And so what I'd recommend is going through all of your gift wrapping supplies and identifying, is there anything that's kind of tattered and worn out? What's seen better days and that it's time to retire? Do you have any ribbon where you don't even have enough of it left saved to wrap a single present? Often things like that will tend to sink to either the bottom or the back of wherever we store gift wrapping supplies. So really just go through and try to refresh your gift wrapping supplies. Make sure that everything you have is still in good working condition and ready to be used for any presents that are going to be given in the next few months. And along those lines of looking forward to the festive season, something else that's great to go through is your autumn and your Christmas decor. For your autumn bits, as you begin to pack those away, try to identify, was there anything that you didn't love, that was a bit awkward or just didn't quite work in your space? Or as you're putting things back, do you still have fall bits stored away that you chose not to put out? Those especially can be great candidates for decluttering. The same thing goes for your Christmas or other holiday decor as well. As you're decorating for the season, is there anything that you're choosing not to put out? Is there anything that's seen better days? Is there anything that either you bought or was given to you years ago that maybe just isn't your style anymore? By decluttering those items, you'll be able to foster a beautiful and simply decorated home filled with only the things that you love. And who doesn't want just to be able to look around their home and to be excited and inspired by everything that they see? But then on a bit of a different note, another category that you can look at decluttering is your finances. As we come upon the end of the year, now is a great time to really take a deep dive, to look at your budget, to really try to get a complete financial picture and to try to identify if there are areas when it comes to your finances that maybe you can simplify. Maybe there are certain purchases that you need to slow down on, subscriptions that you need to cancel, or larger purchases that it might make more sense to delay. Take whatever steps you need to very intentionally create breathing room in your budget that's going to help you to stress less and to be able to relax and enjoy the holidays more. Cards and invitations. If you're the type of person that likes to display cards, the invitations that you receive either on the front of your fridge, maybe the mantle of your fireplace, or somewhere else, now can be a great time to go through them before you likely receive many more around Christmas time. Clear out any that are outdated. Maybe the event has passed or your expecting new photos coming soon. And that way you can create space for all the new ones that will be coming in the next couple of months. And here's one that I will personally be holding myself accountable on. Take action on your to-fix pile. I'm gonna take a guess and say that many of us probably have a pile of, whether it's household goods or clothing items, we have a pile of things that are needing repair of some kind. They need mending, we need to fix them, and we just haven't quite gotten around to it. If that's true of you, I want to encourage you, set a date in the near future, like ideally within a week, by which time you'll have either fixed those items or you'll move on from them. So personally, I have 2 little ceramic bowls that are broken, and I've been really wanting to try the Japanese kintsugi technique where you use gold to fill in the cracks. I think that that would be so much fun, and I have all the supplies. They're just waiting on me to do the project. So that's what I'll be holding myself accountable to doing. I want to actually take action on it. I encourage you to do the same. But let's talk kids' clothing. Babies and small children grow out of clothing so incredibly quickly. Oliver's already on his 4th size of clothing just since he was born. So if your child's drawers, their closet is filled with items that don't really fit them anymore, maybe it's time to move them on to the next size. Take some time to just go through to remove anything that doesn't fit them, to bring in any new clothes that need to be introduced, or maybe even wait till Christmas, give it as a present. Perfect timing. I'd say the big thing here is just to go through their clothes, to remove what doesn't fit. For anything that's in great condition still, that you love, that's really versatile, you can go ahead and save those for future children if you'd like. Then go ahead and move on from, or just declutter the rest. This is a good one for this time of year too. Go through your candles. I feel like often it can be easy for us to go out and buy candles, or maybe we're even just given them, but we enjoy the smell of them when we remember to pick them up, but we never actually light them and burn them, which really is the entire point. So here's just a little reminder from me to actually use your candles, enjoy them, use them up. And then if you have any that you just don't love the scent of, or perhaps just don't like for some other reason, go ahead and pass those on to someone else who can use them. That way they're not just sitting in a cupboard or corner of your home somewhere collecting dust. Then as the holidays approach, I also love the idea of going through your Eventwear. Take a look at your dresses, your seasonal clothing, any of those more elevated or dressy bits that you might tend to reach for a lot more around this time of year. And just make sure that everything you have still fits, it's your style. I feel like often with Eventwear, they're pieces that we do just tend to wear a bit less regularly because we often don't have, occasions to wear them all that frequently. But I find that because of that, it's especially important just to make sure that everything still fits, it still works for you. And maybe there's a dress that you've owned for 10 years and you loved it back when you were 20, but now you're 30, maybe you have a kid, you're just in a different stage of life and not reaching for or wanting to wear that specific style or type of item anymore. So go through your Eventwear, make sure that the things that you have are things that you love and are representative of you, your body, your style, who you are now, not something that you were a decade ago. We all grow, adapt, and change over time as humans, and it's important that our wardrobes reflect that. Hygiene products. Take inventory of all of your hygiene products. Declutter anything that didn't work for you. Maybe it didn't work with your skin type, your hair type. If you have anything that you haven't reached for in who knows how long, it's probably expired at this point. And then also take note of the things that you love that maybe you're almost out of. I find that often I can struggle to know what to ask for Christmas, but asking for hygiene products, or you can even do this with makeup and cosmetics, asking for products that you regularly use can be a great way that people can give you gifts that you're actually going to use to get value from and to appreciate. So if there's anything that you notice you're running low on while you do this, take note of that. All right, then another category you can declutter is your hobby or craft supplies. Are you a serial hobbyist? You'll find a hobby that you love and you'll really dive into and just kind of go completely all in on for a few months or even years, and then one day move on from it and not touch it again for years, if not decades. If that's you, I want to encourage you to declutter anything related to a hobby that you've moved on from. I'm sure you can find a friend, someone locally who'll be able to love and use those things now, not in some hypothetical future when you maybe come back to a hobby. Realistically, by that point, the things that you have might be either outdated or unusable or expired anyways. So declutter those hobby supplies, and along those same lines too, if you're a crafty person and you have different bits and bobs from past projects, maybe you used the majority of something, but you still have scraps of felt or fabric or whatever laying around your home, try to see if you can find someone who can use those bits that you have rather than just storing them for who knows what in the future. You're probably never going to end up using those and they're just taking up space. So see if you can find a good home for them. I really am speaking to myself with this one. I think it's so fun to practice hobbies, to engage in different arts and crafts, whatever you want to call it. There's something about exercising creativity that is so good for the brain, but there can be a lot of just little bits and pieces that come with those things. You just want to be cautious that you're not storing more than you actually need or are using. On a similar note of really just wanting to be mindful, let's talk about sentimental items. When was the last time you went through your sentimental items? Maybe you have a memory box. When was the last time that you went through it? If it's been a while, I'd suggest taking some time to go through it. You can have fun reminiscing, but then as you do, try to think through, is there anything that you can let go of? What we cherish can change over time. I like to think of it a bit like friendships. Some friendships are meant only for a specific season or point in your life, and others are meant to last a lifetime. The same thing goes with our sentimental bits. So go through your sentimental items and try to identify, is there anything that maybe you loved at one point in time, but now it's time to move on from? What can you let go of to make space for new cherished memories? I find with this category of items in particular, it's really helpful to go into it with the mindset not of, okay, what am I going to get rid of, but instead, what do I want to keep in my life going forward? It helps you to really focus on the positive. Let's chat a very practical category that you can go through, and that's your kitchen, appliances, and utensils. The kitchen is one of the most frequently used spaces in the home, and as such, I think it's especially important that our kitchens are functional and practical. So go through your kitchen appliances and utensils and remove anything that's not getting regular use and that's just taking up space. Maybe you have duplicates or even triplicates of certain utensils, a gadgety kitchen appliance that maybe you tried and used a couple of times, but it's been years since you touched it. Declutter anything that isn't getting regular use, and then while you're at it, I think that this can be another great area of, like with hygiene products, to take note of anything that might be on its last legs. Maybe you really need a new ladle or a rice cooker or whatever it is. But take note of that item or those items, add it to your Christmas list, because I feel like that's the kind of thing that makes for a great gift. And that's the kind of thing that's especially fun to receive too, because every time you use that item going forward, you'll be reminded of the person who gave it to you. Just trying to help with some ideas here, because I know I've definitely been that person in the past who, when asked what I wanted for Christmas, couldn't come up with a single thing. So hopefully that's helpful to someone. And then a bit of a non-tangible one that can still be incredibly impactful is to declutter your schedule. I want you to ask the question, what do I need to say no to this season so that I can make space for what I care about? Now, as you ask that question, try to think about, what is your vision for this season? Do you want to spend lots of quality time with friends? Free up some nights for cozy gatherings. Do you want peaceful nights at home with your family? And cancel some plans and block out rest nights in your calendar. If we're not careful, it can be really easy just to get caught up in busyness at this time of year. But I want to encourage you, you're in charge of your schedule. And so think through what you need to say no to so that you can say yes to the way that you want to spend the holidays, the memories that you want to create. And I want to touch on a really quick one. Go through your fridge. Remove anything that's expired, that's gone bad, that you're just not going to eat. That way you can make space for all of the tasty treats that will be filling your fridge in the upcoming months. Then another great category to go through is your cold weather gear. Take a look at your coats, boots, hats, gloves, mittens, scarves. Declutter anything that doesn't fit, that's worn out. If you have gloves or wool socks missing their mate, probably been a while since you pulled all of that stuff out. So just go through all of your cold weather gear, make sure that you're good to go for the upcoming season. We have just a few more here. Something else that you can do is to declutter your home decor. Maybe you have things that were once your style but are no longer. Maybe you've added some really meaningful pieces and have some with less meaning behind them that you just don't need at this point. Take time to remove what you're not using or loving from your home. My ultimate goal is for everything in my home to be meaningful, to have memories and intention behind it, but realistically that's not something that you can fake or really do overnight, something that really takes a lifetime of curation, and you can't fake that. And so what I like to do when it comes to home decor is, there are a lot of things that I bought almost as placeholders, and over the years I'm slowly really replacing some of those items with things that I love, that have meaning, that have history and memory attached to them, that I do hope to keep and to love, to cherish for years. And as I am adding some of those more meaningful pieces, I really do try to make an effort to declutter, to pass on those things that I just got as placeholders. And then something else you can declutter is kids' toys and books. And just like with clothes, kids and especially babies tend to grow out of these so quickly. So go through your kids' books, their toys, and make sure that they're all age appropriate, that you don't have anything that they haven't reached for in the longest time because they've continued to grow up. This is a category that's especially helpful to go through before the holidays. And that way you can make space for the things that are age and stage appropriate. Shoes. Look through your shoe collection and try to identify if you have any that are worn out, that are uncomfortable, that aren't practical. Maybe you have a pair of shoes that's really similar to another pair in your collection. Keep your favorite, let go of the other. Or maybe you lead a very casual lifestyle and have too many dressy shoes, or vice versa. I think it's important that the shoes that we own are reflective of our life, our lifestyle. So if you have too many either dressy or casual shoes, maybe it's time to declutter a handful as well. And then something else very timely that you can go through is your medicine cabinet. With the holiday season comes the beginning of the cold and flu season, so now is the perfect time to go through your medicine cabinet to make sure that you don't have any medications that are expired. It's a great opportunity to make sure that everything is well organized and properly restocked. A couple of months back, I did a major overhaul of our medicine cabinet. It has been an absolute game changer, something I would definitely recommend doing, because when you're not feeling well or a family member isn't feeling well, the last thing that you want to do is to have to rummage around, struggle to find exactly the medication that you're looking for. So convenient just to be able to know what you have, where everything is, to pull out exactly what you need. Then last but not least, if you have one, I want to encourage you to take action on your I'll deal with it later pile. I know I'm not the only one who has one of these. It's that pile in your home of things that you've been meaning to sell, you've been meaning to take to a donation center, or maybe even just you've been meaning to put away. That pile of things that you want to go through, you just haven't gotten to yet. Well, I want to encourage you, now's the time to actually do it. Trust me, it will feel great having done it, and I promise it will take less time than you think. Well, friends, those are 25 things that you can get rid of before 2025, and I really hope that this has given you not only some ideas, but also some motivation to really get out there, to declutter your home before the holidays, and to really simplify your space so that you can enjoy these final couple of months of the year. Now, I would love to know, what are you wanting to declutter before 2025? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. I know I have a big declutter plan for the next couple of weeks here. But as always, friends, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all very soon. Bye, friends.